where they are. And again, this is just the introduction, getting started stuff, but there's more discussions that happened earlier today, and just interested for people. But they're definitely a must. You have to have a task on everything if you run your application. Okay, testing. So we have testing. The testing tools are quite a few. Angular uses Jasmine in their documents, but Mocha is also available. Mocha is also upcoming, a new one. I haven't used it as much. I use Jasmine quite a bit. And Mocha is NodeJS. And also, it's just a little lighter and faster than asynchronous. So those are two testing frameworks that we have available. We use Karma as a test runner. So Jasmine is the BDD. It's called behavior-driven development. They have a describe and an edge, and then you just specify what it does, and you have the assertions in there. The nice thing with Jasmine is it is one package. You just download one file, and everything is in there. But with Mocha, you have to. It's more friendly, I guess. Or there is some setup. You have to get your files in place. There's a little more configuration with Mocha than Jasmine. Again, I haven't used Mocha. I can't comment too much on it. But Jasmine is just one file. It's very easy to test. You can see Angular uses it. Karma is I don't have a slide for Karma. Karma is the test runner. There's a karma.conf file or karma.js file. You can say which spec files you want to run, in which order of the tests, and your mocks and things like that. You can add to that. Protractor, I don't have it listed here, is end-to-end testing for Angular. You typically use Selenium, so for that I haven't used Protractor. Did you use Protractor?
We haven't started with it.
So that's something to think about.
So on that one, can I ask a question on Jasmine there?
Mm-hmm.
So with Selenium, that is kind of like a headless browser. It pulls up a web page, clicks various things, fills things out, submits form, that sort of thing. That works with Selenium. Does Jasmine do similar things?
Jasmine unit testing, great point. I'm actually
unit testing.
Unit testing. They're designed for unit testing. Both are unit testing, so you can have your scripts with your spec file separate than your source code, and then you execute against that. They don't bring up the file. But because the factor in JS, you can use the browser. I was going to say but unit testing, but there's still a browser involved. You can say it's a Firefox or Phantom JS, which I use the headless browser.
So unit testing of the client side code.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up. But Protractor is end-to-end testing, just like Selenium might do. I haven't used that.
Yeah, I use
We use Selenium quite a bit. It's just very making sure the UI. It's a little bit fragile, but still works.
I think they're all.
Yeah. True to that. Yeah, let's do a little demo. So when I did my research for this talk, there has been, I wanted to get something mean, and when I say mean, not really mean as mean, but just wanted to get, okay, what is the easiest thing to start? How can I get from 0 to hero in a few hours? I don't know how long it's going to take. And I found there's a couple of stacks out there, mean IO, and so mean stack. If you just Google that, right, there's actually a few things here, not that one. That's it. Let me try this. Mean.js versus mean. That's it. So I found these two different, and then they talk about this is a good discussion with Stack Overflow. They talk about what is the difference. So you want to get something like, what are the things that boilerplate, right? Because if you think about it, you gotta write everything from scratch. You just want it to go, okay, here's my Node.js, and you don't really know, there's all the middleware, the authentication you have to handle, the template engine. It's not that bad, but you have to, maybe a starting point, right? For me to get, okay, how gets the easiest way for me to get started with me? I've done a lot of Angular, I've done a lot of Node, but I've done Mango is not in production. But what is the easiest way to start? So come up with these two mean IO and looked at the discussions. Here, this is one of them. So it says mean IO is we'll just maybe go over and take a look at it. So let's just see how they look and who they are. It's actually the same guy who started this, and he left. And then one of them is actually maintained. So mean.io is, the latest entry was last couple of days ago, and mean.js is been stale since August, but that's a lot of time. Exactly. So what's going on? Oops, mean.js. So you have these two. The tutorials are outdated, but the nice thing is they really get you going from 0 to hero in pretty much no time. So I'll show you how this easy this thing is. Just blow me away the first time I've done it. You gotta run a few things that kind of came up, but so let's see. This one is one of them. Maybe we'll just look in the WebStorm. So I got a question about what's WS earlier. That's for WebStorm. WebStorm is one of the best IDEs I think out there for web development. It's just, I mean, you can still have Sublime too, but it's very easy to use. As far as going through it, you have the terminals up there. You can look at terminal. It does a bunch of tasks. And you can automate. Yeah, I recommend using WebStorm. So I want to just go to that project if I can. Go to my list here. It doesn't have the concept of a project, if you will, but it does, let's keep it in one window, it does create, now I want to go to presentation mode here so we can see it. No, I can't see it because, nice. Okay. You guys can see anything? I can't see anything. Oh, I use my project images now. That's better. So now if you go here, oh, still goes away. Close the project window. All right. Okay, so this is the structure. You can see that it uses Angular applications typically have an app folder, which we typically serve. We talked about the models and views and controllers. It's very well defined in that your objects kind of all lay in place. We talked about CRUD earlier. If you recall, the CRUD stands for Create, Read, Update. It comes with its own articles. Articles is your object, the CRUD object. So it takes it all the way. There's a sample to it. So you can actually create your own CRUDs too, through the same way. So maybe let's take a look at. Let's take a look at first. Take a look at the server file. So the first things are with the module dependencies. This is an app.js. Server.js. So we're doing a bunch of requires. Mongoose is the one I mentioned earlier. This is your database connection. In this example, we are using a local database called meandev, Mongo. I don't know what chalk is, but this is just, I think it's just the errors for the server. It configures the Express and bootstraps the application. This passport is your authentication. It configures a port where your application is going to start, and it's going to start. So that's just going to be the application that's going to run on the browser, on the server right away. For as far as the pieces go, so you have, this is well labeled, I think, overall. You have, let's see, yeah, public, okay, here, so your public stuff is, yeah. Your public is the one that you're going to be serving on the public for your clients. So you have your tests, your views. So these are the create, read, update. So these all come from out of the box. So you're viewing the article. Maybe I'll just run the application and then come back to this. Fix it up. Yeah, that's probably better. Let's go back here. Mean.js org is using Grunt, one of the tools. Do that. So I'm gonna start the gulp, just start grunt. And it's running this gulp task, and the gulp has a default task. If I run it with no parameters to gulp, it's just gonna start whatever the default task is. And the application is started at port 3000, so let's go back and take a look at the application, what it looks like. The localhost. Okay, so you see, it gives you a little like scaffolding. So what do you do here? You just have the application. You can sign in. So let's just create a new account. Actually, sign up. And these are all done within the app itself. So you can just say. So this is going to go to MongoDB as I create this. So I'll just sign up. Begin error. Where's my password? Password should be longer. Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I was missing. So it does come with a lot of things. These are actually, I had a friend who just deployed them using a mean IO on a public website. There you go. So now we have a user. Let's go check out that user in our, this is I was telling you about Mongo, RoboMongo, which is an interface to the, it's like, I don't know if you use MySQL or anything like that. It's open source, pretty easy to use, available in all of them. Otherwise, if you can always use the Mongo shell. It's actually an abstraction of the Mongo shell, as you can tell. So if I refresh this here, you should probably see our user. There it is. So that's the one we just saw. Oh, I guess it didn't go that one. You get multiple. I'm not sure where it goes. Well, anyway, it goes to a local database. I don't want to debug this here, but it goes to a local database, and you can use MongoDB to see that. And then the articles is also the CRUD done. Now the articles part is available to you, which is kind of creating this articles. There are no articles, so you can create one. This is just going to give you a title and a content. Start here. Things are easy. Submit that. It's going to save it. You can delete this. You can read through it and all that. So it's just and your name is up there. You can plug into their authentication module. They have Facebook, Twitter, Google. I haven't done that yet, but that's available to us. They have boilerplates using Passport. You can create your own, depend on the authentication mechanism. You can expand the CRUD. The nice thing with the CRUD is there is also the concept of generators. It uses Yeoman. Yeoman is a generator in Node.js. So let's go to the official site for mean.js, which is really I like about this between the mean.io and mean.js is mean.io has this, mean.js has this concept of YO generators. It gives you a CRUD module. And this doesn't exist in mean.io. In mean.io we have the concept of packages. So that's the difference between the two. So to get started, you can install Yo. I think I have these all done here. But the easiest way to create a CRUD here, let's see if this works. So Yo mean.js, you just say Yo mean.js, CRUD module, name of the CRUD module, I want to call it game. and it's gonna ask me to which ones do I want? Do I want all these partials? Yes, I'll say yes. I'll take it all. Do I want a menu? Sure. Do I want an identifier for the menu? Just take all the things. So pages. So we got all the defaults. So we have a CRUD module. So if I run the same application, CRUD. So we should see just like the other one, I believe. Go back here. So we should see our games right there. So it's the same thing. I didn't change anything, but it just gives you a nice starting point. So you can do your own mongoose scheme. You can do all this in here. You can create a new game, give it a name. So that's pretty easy to start with. Let's go look at the mean just for completeness. My next slide here. Mean, you can, again, this is also a node package. You can just say sudo install -g mean CLI, the runtime for this, and it's just using it as mean in a new app. Once you do that, it takes a few minutes to get this started, but I've already done that for another module. Let's see, this one or this one. Let's see, I'm going to jump into WebStorm. Just to, the concept on that one, it uses packages. It's still slightly different. It's also more up to date. So that package is getting up to date. So that the main JS you looked at earlier is using 1.2. This is using 1.3. And as you saw, there's more contributions coming at it. So if I wanted to start it, I would suggest start with the mean IO right now. And that's because it's been updated. It's going to be more concurrent. Whatever you're doing. So we got, let's see what we're doing. Time. This one uses Gulp. Gulp is a newer one. You don't have to, again, it also uses Gulp and Grunt too, but Gulp is the default one. You can define which one you want to use. Similar setup, really similar. The thing is that it's packages. So you have these packages concept. There are no CRUD. If you looked at the other one, the CRUD is kind of split in two places. I like the way this is set up with the packages. And the other thing I like about this, you don't really put your packages up here. When I first started this, I'm just going to hack this and then I'll just do it my own. So I put another games package out here and try to wire it up, but it doesn't work that way. As it turns out, there's a package generator for mean.io. So if you look at that, it's in the docs. The documentation is pretty good. It's not as good as the other one, but this is also pretty good, and it gets you started again here. How you install it. You have to install Gulp. Bower is the package manager for the front end. So you say Bower install, it will install Angular and all the other dependencies you need. So you got Gulp node server, that's how you started with 3000. Okay. The packages, where are the packages? CLI will be there, manage list. So you can list a package. You can uninstall a new package and uninstall. Let's see, new application. Yeah, this is for the modules. You can install new module, uninstall new module. Status, the package is right here. So that's the thing. That's just, it doesn't have that plumbing as much as the Yeoman generator and the other one as we saw, but it has a nice package system. This gets more up to date. So I have these two applications, and I know I promised for like a game demo and stuff. I wanted to maybe show you that quick. I have a, this is for a business application, but it's a drag and drop. So I wanted to update the abstract, but I didn't get to it in time, so I just wanted to show you the drag and drop part of things. So I was going to go update this project. So I just want to just jump into that application here. Okay, and I just start this node app.js. So that should start my little app here at 3003. This uses Express. It's an older version of Express. It's an older version of Angular. Okay, oh boy, nice. Now that this scaling is kind of off on this screen. But the idea is, so I have these user control applications. I can drag them into an area here, and a lot of things will happen in the back end. So my goal in this, if I can get this in time, I ran into some Angular problems, but should have been like a Tic Tac Toe type game, so I can update these days. Like you were showing Tetris earlier, so I was there's an engines available, I was gonna adapt that and put it into this application. But it turns out it's more than I could chew, pretty good time frame, and run into a few things. But this is a business application. I make this available on GitHub. I had a bunch of questions about how to implement the drag and drop on Angular. Things are changing quite a bit. 1.2, 1.3, this is not working with 1.3, I know that, I have to update that. That's kind of the problem of where I started to, how do I go about updating it. But to show you the inside of this, how the application is written, it's not a boilerplate, so you got to do a lot of work yourself, you know, how you wired up the front end, what's laid out. But it uses Bootstrap, it uses directives, it uses directives, this is the directive, that's a directive. I talked about expressions earlier, this is an expression. We have...
That expression is an Angular?
Yes, an Angular expression.
Okay.
And this is the syntax that I heard is changing to 2.0.
Oh, really?
We'll be interested to see. A lot of things are changing. But typically we have, the application is drag and drop, so we have a controller. The controller is setting up all the data. There is no backend to this right now, so it's just creating all those cabinets, if you will. And it's just pushing onto, and it has events for cabinet placed right here. I don't know if you can see that, cabinet placed. Then you talk about like a drop event, updating the cabinets. So it's, you know, it took a while to get this done, but it's right now in production. It's using 1.2, and the idea is that they can just take different objects and place it in, and then certain drop boxes can get enabled or disabled depending on the rules that are set in the backend. So we go through, we do a post to the backend when the user changes, and then we update the UI. So Angular works really well for that, you know, for getting that. It's a single page application, there's nothing else. We use partials. That's pretty good for what we're doing. So I was pretty happy with this. Also wanted to show you on the, we got a model here. So if I wanted to, okay, I want to add a new one. So we got a model view pops up here. This is also a model directive that was built in, so you can type which one you want to go. You can delete these. Styling issues there, and you can hit reset. Should be at the end, which auto places some of the components in the application. So yeah, I think I have a few more minutes left. Let's see, a little bit of slide deck here.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
What you can do routes in templates in Angular.
Yes.
So the idea with Express is that they're better at Express than doing it in Angular.
Well, I like Angular better because it just gives me more control over my templates, what is done. But Angular, I think Express is nice that you can, you don't have to worry about it. You can use any templating engine. That's a nice thing. Angular is, you've got HTML, you're stuck with that now. And it's faster too. If you small little things are rendered on the server side and pushed to the server. So that would be one thing. Writing would be better for any Express routes. If you have like static data, things like that.
I think in certain cases, like, you would want to use both. Like, so if you had that game, for example, and then people logged in to play it, and then you needed some other means of like setting up those accounts or something. So there would be an express route for the game side of things, and then an express route for like a /admin account section. Whereas then you have the complete separation. So you can kind of use both.
Yeah,
It's just kind of where you feel comfortable and what makes sense. So there's places where both make sense.
Yep, now I'll wrap it up quick. So we have the alternatives so far. So we have the React.js, React, AngularJS, Backbone. These are different JavaScript or front-end frameworks. Definitely. The story with Angular kind of got moved. I think it get much better right now with the last NGConf, but the first one, there was the NGConf in New York. NGConf is the Angular's conference, the unofficial conference, but kind of got a little muddy on how the 2.0, the migration path wasn't there. So a lot of people right now, like just in the last few months, are going to React, AmberJS, another rival framework. But I think, you know, I was talking earlier the TypeScript, and there's been some unification with these frameworks. There's a lot of good things I think going to come out in the next year or so. So I'm really looking forward to that. You can read about all. You can definitely read about it, do your own research. There's different options. For Express, happy, I talked about earlier from Walmart. Co-op is another one, Restify. These are different frameworks that can replace Express. NodeJS is interesting. There has been a fork of NodeJS in November called IOJS. That's the reason is that Joyent is the owner company, and they have a lot of corporate customers, clients, and they can upgrade to the speed. And then a few developers decided to take a fork and just do their own. Their goal is to upgrade this much faster, much cadence, higher cadence. So I'd like to see that. It's different. IOJS, they can go side by side. You can use NVM to know the version manager. Then that's available there, but still you want to use Node.js, I think, overall. It's experimental, so you're on your own IOJS. MongoDB is very easy to learn. We have CouchDB similarly, RavenDB, React, Redis. These are all NoSQL database types, so you can also check those out. I like MongoDB again because of also the client support. I've been client driver support. They have Python, C#, .NET, and Node. There are tons of drivers, a lot of support out there. Pretty good job, I think. So in conclusion, you know, the frameworks are evolving. So we have, you just need to keep investing. ECMAScript 6, the JavaScript 6 is coming. You can't just make your own judgment call. Always start easy. You really want to learn everything right away, but it's good to start with like a boilerplate and then look at the pieces, what's going on. That would be a good way to get going. You know, 0 to hero, I mentioned it earlier. That's one way, but again, you want to learn the technology. I think it's okay to struggle. It's okay to work real hard and fail. Well, communities, right? Cry at your own, right? Because we know we have a side personal project. You know, that's also nice. I don't use MongoDB at work right now, but I wrote in Angular, I wrote in Node. There's still a lot of things to do, learn and dabble with. User groups are awesome, and conferences. Come to events like these and practice, and hackathons, and try out things. So that's about it. That's all I got. I think we have prices in the auditorium. We're going to read there. Thanks. All together. Good. Thanks. Thanks. A little nervous. That's always. I don't have any to take it. Because I'm missing all these pieces. Cookie.